Hey, EMDR community, Laurie Bellinger here, EMDR therapist, consultant, trauma educator, making a series of quick tips for EMDR therapists. It's a little project I'm trying out. The first two videos were on proprioceptive sense and on the olfactory sense. What I'm focusing on for this series of videos is improving felt safety with various different sensory strategies. It's something that is very important to me, I think is very helpful for providing safer and more effective EMDR therapy. So let's get to it. First of all, what am I talking about when I say felt safety? Well, when we do the resourcing in the beginning phases of EMDR, we try to build in things. A lot of EMDR therapists these days are using more and more embodied practices, more resources that are sensory focused or body focused. There's increasing understanding in the community of the brain-body connection. And along with this is the understanding of something we like to call the window of tolerance. If you'd like a little bit more information on that, I cover it a little bit more thoroughly in the previous two videos. Links to those are at the end of this video. Also, in addition to the window of tolerance, we have other ways of saying similar kinds of ideas. If you're coming from the polyvagal community, you're going to be more comfortable with perhaps talking about Deb Dana's polyvagal ladder. If you are a counselor working in schools, you may have been made more familiar with the zones of regulation. These are all really related and important for processing traumatic material really well. So what I like to share with folks all the time is that if you can help your clients meet sensory needs, then you can help create a safer and more effective processing situation. I once had a therapist tell me, yeah, it's not so much that the client needs to be safe, they need to feel safe. We know that we are keeping our clients safe in our therapy offices, yet even when they're agreeing with us intellectually that they are safe enough to do this processing and they think they're ready, even for a high SUDS target, the nervous system may respectfully disagree. And we really need the brain and the body to feel safe enough in order to really knock it out of the park. So vestibular, what is this and why should you care? The vestibular system, fun fact here, is the first sensory system to fully develop. Occupational therapists have told me that this is really the unifying system. It directly influences almost everything that you do. It impacts how awake and how alert our clients are. It's very powerful, and very interestingly, it can be used to be alerting or calming to the nervous system. Sounds pretty useful. So, thank you for your patience with me as I'm having a little fun making these videos. Said, why is this video making me seasick? Well, the movement in this video is partially because it really made me think of the vestibular sense. When I describe the vestibular sense to my clients, we talk about being seasick or car sick, your middle ear, your sense of balance. This sense actually helps you know where you are in space. It helps affect your posture, your coordination, but interestingly, it also impacts your attention and your arousal. So how can we use that in EMDR therapy to help us in resourcing our clients? Well, I'm just going to give you 3 simple ways. We try to keep these videos quick. So 3 practical things that you can use right away. So first one's going to be maintaining focus, especially if anyone out there is working with kids. The second is assisting a client who is having some shutdown sort of response, a dorsal vagal response when you're doing some processing. And the third one is for orientation and calming if you have a client who's experiencing some hyperarousal. Again, all of these strategies are great for both adults and children. I work with the entire age spectrum. And yoga balls are not just for yoga. So here's one of my favorites. I've had several therapists go out and buy yoga balls after talking about sensory with me to use in their therapy offices. Try this. You can offer your client, child or adult, a yoga ball to sit on while processing targets. I often sit on a yoga ball myself. Clients are able to utilize the gentle bounce, completely self-directed, under their own control. It helps them to maintain focus and connection, to stay present in the therapy room, even when doing challenging targets. Shutting down. Depending on how you were trained as a therapist before you were trained in EMDR therapy, it might change some of the vocabulary you might use for this experience. So if you were coming from the polyvagal community, you might call this a dorsal vagal response. Other therapists might call this avoidance, or we're talking about fight, flight, collapse, and freeze. So this would be the collapse and freeze response. We might also notice this as a minor form of dissociation or disconnection. In any event, this can happen. And we can use vestibular to assist. So movement that engages the middle ear can help your client recenter, become more present, activate more energy, connect with their emotions and body sensations again. I have sometimes gotten up and done a little dance with my younger clients. With adults, we might stand and do a gentle stretch from side to side, activating that middle ear. You can encourage your client to turn their head upside down if they're sitting in the chair, to put their head between their knees and bring their head back up. To actually stand and bend over their chair and stretch and come back up. These are all different ways that you can activate that vestibular sense, the middle ear, to help your client come back into their window of tolerance. Now, caution for that. If your client is shutting down, that is an excellent sign that the nervous system is letting you know it has a reason. It may be that our resourcing is not quite adequate for the SUDS level that the client thought it was. Maybe they said it was an 8, but it turns out it was a 20. So this can be a signal that the body disagrees. They need more safety. That safety might come from better co-regulation with you as the therapist. It might come from safety devices, or it might come from breaking the target up into smaller, more manageable parts. Third, hyperarousal can also be assisted through some skillful use of the vestibular sense. So it can be alerting, remember, and calming, which is pretty cool. If you've ever had a client who uses stimming behavior, movements to self-soothe, you've seen vestibular in action. So do you own a rocking chair or a yoga ball? Try this one sometime. If you have a client who is becoming hyper-aroused and you want to assist them in coming back into the window, be present enough, try rocking. I like to sometimes rock with a client side to side. We'll kind of do it together. And humming. Humming can be deeply regulating. So we may hum a simple little quick tune, and this is a reorienting device, helping us bring things back into safety. Once again, caution, because if you are doing processing with your client and they need help with hyperarousal, that may be a sign they're becoming too dysregulated in order to process the material deeply and well. And it's okay to take a step back. The early phases of EMDR are just as important as the later phases of EMDR. And it's okay to back it up, go in reverse. I often tell my consultees that slowing down is sometimes the best way to speed up. So thank you for checking out this video and for learning a little bit about the vestibular sense and how you might be able to use it to enhance your EMDR therapy. Feel free to reach out to me anytime about trainings or EMDR consultation. And here is that link to the first 2 videos. Thank you so much.